All right, welcome back. I had a question come up about labeling a top and toe of wall in a site plan situation. And what we're trying to do is try to have a label style that would read both that top and the toe of the wall. Now, the reason for this is we could uh, allow to have one label style depicting that information versus two. You get into crowded situations and you can't have all those different labels in there. So we're trying to minimize the labels that we can put onto the plan so that way we can have a clean, readable site plan. So basically, with that being said, what we're going to do here is we're going to set some COGO points along the wall, and then we've defined this label style that will read those COGO points and allow us to pick the toe elevation of the point and the top elevation of that particular COGO point. And it'll allow you to label it with the one label. As the COGO points get updated, the label style will also be updated. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into the drawing. I'm going to show you how we've got this set up and how it works. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, email me with your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any or all. Thanks. All right, we're in the drawing. This drawing is set up with a toe of the wall and a top of wall. And you can see here I've kind of threw an example out here of the points, COGO points here and here. These are on a non-plottable layer. We can adjust the style the way we want them. We can put them on the point group so that we can gather them up and we can call them out as design, COGO, top toe wall or something to that effect. And now we've got this label that we've created here, and we can put the one point here and it can read from these two COGO points. Now these two COGO points, I've set these on the surface. So if I adjust the feature line or the surface, I'll show you a way that we update those COGO points as well. So then there it will update our top and toe. Again, we're trying to get away from labeling a top with a top elevation label style and the toe elevation label style. So basically it kind of reduces the real estate or the area that you need to depict or show that wall. So let's go ahead and set some of the COGO points that we're going to need. We'll start with the toe and then we'll work up to the top. So let's go back up to the Home tab and the Create Ground Data panel, and then under Points, what we'll do here is we'll go to the Create Points Miscellaneous, and we go to the Manual area. It brings up the Create Points dialog box. What I want to do here is I want to set some points, some random points on the surface. So basically we'll go ahead and use that. And then down the command line is asking us to specify a location for that new point. I've got my running O-snaps going here, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick on this point here. And again, we're doing the toe first, so the description here is asking for, we're going to go ahead and type in toe, and then we'll move to the next. Now that toe should be running on the as the default description, so I'll hit return. And so then at this point, let's go ahead and jump up to the top, and we can go ahead and add here. It'd be a little bit redundant, but let's just type in top, and we'll pick this point here, call that top. So now at this point, we've got basically the working mode point in here, if you want to call it that. And we can see that we've got a point number, an elevation, and the, I grabbed the wrong grip, and the description. So now we can tell where our tops and toes are. I'm just going to separate these real quick. And now what I want to do at this point is actually add this to a point group so that I can apply the style that I want, things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to tool space, and I've got mine open already here, so I'm going to basically go down to the point group area. I've got a Kogo wall design point group in here already, and that's what you're seeing on this side over here. But I'm just going to go ahead and make one so we can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a new, right click inside the settings, points, point group area, and go to the new command. And then from there I can type in the name of the group that I want it to be. So let's just call this new, let's just call this Kogo. Something to that degree. And then right here is what we'll do is we'll change these default styles. So let's go ahead and drop this down, and we're going to go here for the point style, and then the point label style. We're going to go ahead and use this new label, design top and toe. So that'll be our point style. And then what we want to do is we want to add these points to that. So basically these styles are going to override what we see here. Once these points become part of this group, that's what we'll see. So I want to include some points. So now we can type in with number, and there's a bunch of different ways we can do this with raw description or full description matching. So what we can do here is we can come over here and type in top, comma, toe, and it'll grab all of them and put them in this group. We can do it with numbers matching, like I said. We can do it with a selection from the drawing. We'll go ahead and use that method for right now. So I'm just going to window around these points. I'll hit return. And now you can see that from 21 to 26, that's the point numbers. They are included in this new point group that we've created. So now we should be able to hit apply. And now we can see that that style that we applied, those styles that we applied through the group has now applied to the Kogo points in the drawing. Alright, so let's go ahead and set some of the surface label styles on the retaining wall here. So this should be very familiar to us. Basically we'll go up to the annotate tab, and we'll come over here to our labels, and the add labels feature would be surface, and we're going to go ahead and use this spot elevation. Now with that new spot elevation label we've got set up here, it's basically allowing us to do the top and toe of a proposed surface, or whatever surface you want. But that's the style. We'll look at the build of it here after a while. But let's go ahead and hit add. And once we've hit add, I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. On the command line, it's asking us to select a point. Now, let's not get confused with a Kogo point. It's just a basic point inside the drawing. So what I want to do here is I'm going to zoom into this area here. And I believe my running no snap's still going. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick on this end point here. Now it's asking to select the Kogo point for the label style for the toe, right? So you can see it down here for the toe elevation. So we're going to go ahead and pick on that. And now up here, back down on the command line, it's asking us for the Kogo point for the top. So we'll go ahead and pick the top. And now we've got that elevation that we need. The downside to this, there's not really a downside, but if you can't come back over and pick this point here, it's going to label it with the last elevations from those points. So all you got to do is just hit return, get out of the command, come back into the command, select your point. If you're following along on the command line there, you can see what I'm doing. So I hit that. Now again, it's saying toe, so I'll pick the toe, top, pick the top, and now I've got what I need. Again, hit return to get out of the command. Let's go to this endpoint here. This kind of terminates, I guess, but we can use it for an example nonetheless. I'm going to hit return. So it's asking me to select the point. I'm O-snapping to the physical location again, and then it's asking for the toe elevation. So I'll pick the toe, pick the top, hit return, so on and so forth. So now at this point you can go ahead and pull these out just like any, and we can reword this if we need to or whatever. You guys let me know what you think. But now we can go ahead and pull these out of here. But what you end up seeing here is you've got one label that depicts both the top and toe of the wall instead of having, like I said earlier, a spot, not a spot elevation, but a label style for the toe and a label style for the top. So now at this point, maybe let's take a look at how that the label styles being generated. We'll just run through it quickly. So I'm going to go to the edit command here, and then here you'll see, you know, the name, and then it gives a brief description here, telling you it's going to read the Kogo points, and also is telling you once you have these Kogo points into, you know, in the drawing, then you can use this style. So if we go to the layout tab, this is where it kind of gets interesting. So basically we've got a top elevation and a toe elevation, and how we did that is we came up to the reference text, and so when you use a reference text, these are what we can reference. So what we did here is we used the Kogo point, and we referenced that twice, and then inside those areas or those fields we went in and told it what do we want to see for content. So for the toe, we told it to use the point elevation. And here you can look, since this is a Kogo point, you could have listed anything you wanted there. You could list northing, easting, so point number, so on and so forth. So it's just kind of a way to allow you to know that there's other things we can do here as well with these labels. So we did the same thing for the top elevation as well. And then once you do that, you need to, you know, make sure you configure it right so it looks and feels the way you want it inside the layout and in the drag state. We've done that hard work for you, but if you do need something other than what we've got, you can definitely contact us or try to build it yourself and then show us what you need. Either way, I'm fine with whatever way or avenue you want to take. Okay, so basically that's the rundown on the style, and that will be inside the DWT file unless you guys tell me otherwise. So the other thing we need to look at here is just how do we create or how do we link this. Let's say, for example, the surface changes because we're designing, right? We're making some changes because we have conflict with utilities or something, I don't know. But nonetheless, what we can do here is that we need to, let's say we're going to change this toe elevation, right? So what's driving that surface first and foremost on this particular example is the feature line. So I'm going to grab that feature line, and I'm going to use the from the contextual tab here, the edit elevations. I'm going to do a quick edit to the elevation. So if I pick on that, I hover over my mark here. It's hard to see that here, but it's that it should match that toe elevation of whatever we got there. 41. That spot elevation must be off of that a little bit. Well, let's just modify this. And let's just say this is 12. Oh, I'm sorry, 14, 0, 0, 55. And now since that surface has changed, what we need to do is make sure that we have the updated surface. So we'll go back to tool space. Let's just make sure the surface was updated. There it is. So we'll go ahead and rebuild that. And with that rebuilt, you know, that point object didn't get updated, right? It needs to, it's not dynamically linked to the surface. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and make the change to the point by simply reattaching it to the surface. It sees and feels that new elevation, and then it'll apply it to the style. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of the point group. So that these points that we've been working with here on this end of the wall are in this wall design Kogo point top toe wall design point group. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually select that point group, and we'll go ahead and right click on it. And then what we want to do is we want to select. It's not selects those 6 points, Kogo points that we have part of that point group. And this allows us to have the contextual tab comes up, says Kogo points, and it allows us to have some modification tools here. So what we want to do then is we want to go to the elevation from surface. We'll go ahead and select on that command. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to rework that Kogo point based off of the new surface, because we've updated the surface. We made the change to the feature line. We've updated the surface. Now it allows us to choose that surface, and it'll reacquaint itself with that particular elevation or modification. So we're going to hit OK. And now down on the command line, it's asking us what do we want to do. All of them, you know, select by number, things like that. Well, we've already selected them with the group, so I'm just going to hit all. And now you can see that we have the 1400.55. That's the new elevation on the Kogo point. And once we're out of that, then we should be able to update this label here. Actually, by regenerating, I believe, should give us the new elevation. So just by regenerating that the drawing, then now it takes on the new elevation. So I'll go ahead and step through that one more time just quickly. So basically, I'm going to grab this feature line. I'm going to edit the command. The edit commands, I guess, and then I'm going to pick on that elevation. I'm going to type in, I'm going to round this up to 1401. So now that has updated that feature line, right? I'll get out of the command. I can see that my surface has been needs to be updated, so I'm going to go ahead and rebuild it. And now that I got the surface rebuilt, I can reacquaint the point to the surface. So I'm going to go back up to the group. I'm going to go right click on the point group. I'm going to say select. It selects all the points, adds the contextual tab. I'm going to go over to surface from elevation, or elevations from surface, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and select that surface that we want. And we will just hit return to select all of them. And now you can see that the Kogo point has updated to the correct elevation that we had changed it to. And then I'm going to, since I'm out of the command, I'm just going to say regen all. And now you can see my point label has been updated as well. So that's about it. If you guys have questions on how we've done this, or want more information on how to do this or work with it, please let me know. Like I said, I will add this into the DWT file for the Phoenix, Arizona office and the Omaha office. Now we'll also talk with the Lincoln office as well, see if they're interested in something like this. Anyhow, please let me know. I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Bye.